They speak the same language. They watch the same movies. But do they really think the same? What do the British think about Americans? The seen and the unseen. America and Britain. Two countries that speak the same language, listen to the same music, and watch similar films. But does speaking the same language mean thinking the same way? On one side, the world's greatest power; on the other, the empire that once built that power. So how do the British see Americans? With admiration or with quiet criticism? In this video, we move beyond cliches and examine how British society views Americans through history, culture, class differences, and everyday life. This is not a judgment. This is an observation. Historical background. Where does the divide come from? To understand how the British think about Americans, we must first look to the past. America was once part of the British Empire. But in 1776, that bond was broken. For the British, this was not just the loss of a colony. It was a society that came from them choosing its own path. Even today, some people in Britain look at America and feel this unspoken thought. They came from us, but became very different. This feeling still lives on quietly, beneath the surface. We speak the same language, but we are not the same. One of the most common things the British say about Americans is this: yes, we speak English, but we think differently. The British often see Americans as louder, more emotionally expressive, more confident. Sometimes overly confident. The American attitude of "I am the best" can feel off-putting in British culture, because British culture tends to be more reserved, more ironic, more sarcastic. With self-deprecating humor, American directness can sometimes be perceived as rude by the British. Confidence or arrogance. The British generally see Americans as very confident. But that confidence is not always viewed positively. For a Briton, quiet strength equals maturity. Talking too much equals showing off. Americans openly talking about success clashes with British cultural norms. That's why a common remark in Britain is, "Americans are very good at selling themselves." Is this criticism? Yes, but it also carries a hidden admiration. Culture and education perceptions. There is a widespread perception in British society. America equals powerful, but America equals superficial. This perception becomes especially visible in education. Some British people see Americans as weak in historical knowledge, inward-looking, focused mainly on their own country. Is this true for every American? Of course not. But the perception exists. For the British, being a citizen of the world matters. Americans, on the other hand, are often criticized for centering only their own country. Politics and power. Respect and fear of America. Do the British look down on America? No. On the contrary, they are very aware of America's power. But that power inspires caution more than admiration. In British media, America is often portrayed as an uncontrolled force, the world's police, an interventionist superpower. Especially its Middle East policies are frequently debated in Britain. Some Britons think America is powerful, but not always right. Popular culture. Loved but criticized. Do the British consume American culture? Absolutely. Hollywood films, TV shows, music, sports. American culture is very strong in Britain, but consumption does not mean acceptance. The British often see American culture as entertaining, flashy, but sometimes too much. British humor is subtle and indirect. American humor is more direct. This difference highlights the cultural distance between the two societies. Class differences and social perspective. Britain is still a society shaped by class awareness. Accent, manner of speech, even word choice matter. American casualness can seem too free within the British class system. But interestingly, this same casualness represents freedom for some Britons. So alongside criticism, there is also a sense of longing. Americans in everyday life. Americans living in Britain are often described as friendly, social, talkative, but also as too loud, too optimistic, too assertive. For the British, this can be amusing at times and exhausting at others. Admiration and criticism at the same time. British views of Americans cannot be summed up in a single word, because at the same time, there is admiration, criticism, distance, curiosity. America is powerful, influential, but also controversial. The British know this. Do these perceptions change? So, do these perceptions change? Yes, but slowly. New generations grow up more interconnected. Social media, travel, and global culture bring the two societies closer together. But history, culture, and mindset differences do not disappear easily. Perhaps the more important question is this: is speaking the same language more important, or trying to understand one another? Well, this video tried to explain what the British think about Americans. But the real question is this: how much do we care about how others see us? Because understanding different cultures is the first step toward understanding the world. And this channel exists to explore how the world thinks. Understanding others starts with asking the right questions. This video wasn't about judging, but about seeing the world through different eyes. So now we ask you, what do you think? If you enjoyed this perspective, don't forget to like the video. It helps the channel grow and keeps these conversations alive. And if you're curious about how different nations, cultures, and societies see the world, subscribe to What Do They Think? Because understanding the world starts with understanding each other.